Hey YouTubers, I just watched one of Greg's newest video. It had to do with the Chinese chain whip in the beginning, but as the video progressed it had less and less to do with the properly designed Chinese chain whip, and it was more of a the shortest poi you've ever seen. Well, I've never wanted to post technique videos. One, because I'm not associated with any sort of school, and any sort of school with a proper history of doing things the right way at least, and even if I was, I wouldn't be able to post techniques anyway. So that goes to show how good techniques are that are posted on YouTube. Okay. But so many people, there's just a phenomenal amount of people who are watching Greg's videos, watching videos on YouTube, who don't attend any sort of school, and watch videos, gather information, and do the techniques themselves at home. Now that's perfectly fine. You can of course do your own self-defense, weapon training, whatever you want to call it, kanja assassination training. You can practice all your own skills at home. You don't need to be associated with any sort of school. But if you are doing a technique that belongs to a school, of course give credit to the school, and proper schools of course have lots of proper techniques, and you'll want a proper school if it's available to you. But of course, you know, one of the best boxer in the world could do all of his training at home. He doesn't need to be associated with any sort of school. It's all about your own personal skill. Now, I'm not associated. I have chucks on my neck. Nunchaku, two equal length sticks connected, not nunchucks or nunchucks as Greg calls them. But you see I have these with me right now, and that's because I'm going to cover a short bit on not traditional kobudo nunchaku use, because I am not associated with any sort of school, and even if I was, I wouldn't be able to post the techniques anyway to you YouTubers. So I'm going to start giving away some stuff I've learned over the years on the basic physics of how stuff works, and the best proper way to the best proper nunchaku design and equipment to have, as well as the best techniques to use as far as physics and logic go. And you're going to start noticing this is stuff that Greg would never ever post, and I'm going to go into in-depth detail of stuff that I've gained over the years of my personal skill, and it's obviously going to be stuff Greg you won't find in Greg's videos because he's very uneducated. Okay, so first off, you guys got to pay close attention here, because you really got to think about what I'm saying, because it's all going to be the truth. And as I said, it's not associated with any sort of school. It's just stuff that you'll hear and say, oh yeah, that's true, because it applies to logic and physics. Now, nunchaku. You are going to need not random crap, but what you really want are the best nunchaku you could possibly find. And that doesn't mean the best ones you could possibly make from a hardware store or from stuff laying around your garage, like Greg would tell you, but the best ones money could possibly buy on the internet, imported from you from a craftsman. Those are the ones you really want. Okay? Now the first thing we're going to start talking about is the quality of the material they're made from. Okay? Nunchaku that you buy from cheap Chinese companies that deal to martial arts websites, martial arts stores, martial arts magazines, that kind of thing. No martial art magazine in the world, no factory supplier these days makes suitable, real nunchaku. They're all fantasy wall hanger crap. I'm about to explain that. Now the first reason why they're all crap is because they're made out of either a very quick grow, lightweight oak or pine or poplar, and they're not suitable for holding up to any sort of real use. You're going to find some brands, there is a higher up brand that actually makes stuff out of pretty decent redwood, but you still shouldn't trust them for some reasons that I'm about to explain. Now, of course, you're going to need something. The lightest thing you're ever going to want is red oak, very heavy, very solid, slow grow. But of course, the ideal wood is going to be an exotic wood, such as Jatoba, Brazilian cherry, Vera wood, any sort of real hard to work with, expensive exotic wood. The other thing you're going to want is thick gauge steel pipe. And another reason why you shouldn't buy any real sort of nunchaku, or another reason why factories and martial arts supply stores don't carry real nunchaku, aside from the quality of the wood, is the quality of the connection. That's the most important part. You're either going to find a ball bearing setup, meaning it has a chain connecting it and a ball bearing inside allowing it to smooth, spin smooth, or you're going to find a corded setup, and neither of those are designed correctly because they're not designed for real martial artists or anyone who's going to use them for any sort of real hard use. Now, the reason why ball bearings don't work is because and here, when I say every, I mean every pair of nunchaku, ball bearing nunchaku in the world will break after you start using them. Not some of them, but every pair of ball bearings will snap out. Maybe not if you're just spinning them, or doing some kind of underneath the eggs, Greg stuff, but if you're using them the proper way. Ball bearings are not meant to take that kind of a sideways pull of the great force that these make. Every ball bearing is going to pull out, and the piece is going to go flying off and do some sort of damage. So, ball bearing nunchaku are garbage, and so are the factory-produced corded ones. Why? Because even if you replace the cheap nylon cord with a 550 parachute cord, the holes that they drill out through the chucks to be able to cord it around, they remove way too much wood. And even if you strike something and you hit the end, the great force from pulling here is going to crack the wood and it's going to break off. And especially if you hit something and this part makes contact, it's going to snap because they just drill out way too much and they have no idea how to properly design chucks. So the only real nunchaku in the world are ones that are they've made quite some time ago, or that you've made yourself, but not just ones that anyone has made themselves. You have to have knowledge of how to properly design them. So you have to find them from a custom woodworker, a custom martial arts weapon designer, or you can make them yourself if you have the proper knowledge.